Hi, Circuspreneurs. It's your host, Shenea Stiletto, and I am so excited to celebrate World Circus Day on the podcast. It's literally where we get our name or a portion of it. First, it's circus meets entrepreneurship. So, circuspreneur. And for those unfamiliar with entrepreneurship, it's someone that takes their career into their own hands and is. At this point, I think beyond a lifestyle. I like to think of the circus arts industry as a lifestyle and as an entrepreneurship, environment because you're always kind of trying to get somewhere on your own. You're never not evolving in the circus. And I think it's a really wonderful day to celebrate, what circus means to all of us around the world and our circus global family and community and circus friends and listeners out there from all over the world that enjoy the circus arts in any capacity, whether you are an audience member, a spectator, a hobbyist, an artist, a director, choreographer, all the things that make up the circus arts industry, costume maker, wardrobe specialist, musical mixer. I'll just throw that one out there. I like when I do the podcast because I surprise myself with the words that I say. I don't even expect it sometimes, and I just kind of like let it flow. But I just wanted to reflect a little bit on what Circus Day means to the Circuspreneur podcast and kind of just the state of circus currently right now in 2025. I think for so many of us that are attentive to the wider world, meaning the news, we hear a lot of negative feedback about the circus. And I get into so many conversations with fellow circus friends and colleagues about this all the time where we really want the wider public to represent us accurately as a community, as an industry, as an environment, as an organized, steady, balanced, no pun intended, able to juggle so many of things, coming together with so many different varieties of cultures and individuals from so many different backgrounds, doing very complex and fun and heartfelt performance art infused with extreme athleticism. And so today I think it's time to reclaim the circus, to reclaim our terminology, our environment, our space. I find myself commenting on sorts of posts, and I have friends that will send me things and listeners of the podcast and will say, look at what I responded on this post when they said, this is going nowhere. It's like a circus, or this dude is, acting crazy. It might as well be a circus up there for spaces that will not be named. For spaces that we don't want to, but spaces that we are involved in, especially on the advocacy side. I think, it's become very a part of this podcast, the journey of the Circus Arts Guild of America, which I founded to advocate on behalf of the circus arts industry in America in Washington, D.C., and how much of an impact I want the circus arts industry to have in DC to take our industry seriously. And I have to say that it is difficult and easy at the exact same time. I think that we are embraced when we come into a room initially, and not even just initially, but initially, because it's not easy to break through barriers and doors when you are coming from an environment that most people just don't have a lot of representation for in their own personal life or their awareness. Now it's becoming so much easier. You meet so many people that, even lawmakers that have a family member or a friend or a friend of a friend that's in the circus arts industry, whether they call themselves only an aerialist or a juggler, or they're into clowning, or they do a little bit of acro. Now that's like the really popular term to use. You're not doing circus, now you're doing acro, which is my sport from, when I started and how I came into the circus. And I love discussing my circus journey, which is a whole different podcast, a whole different conversation, but it is a very special one And I'm so happy to be wrapped up in the love of circus today on World Circus Day, International Circus Day, or only Circus Day, however you call it. It is April 19th for those folks that are confused. I believe that World Circus Day is usually on the third Saturday of every April. And so it changes. So that means it's not on the exact same date every single year, which is hilarious. I love seeing all the different posts of people starting it early or taking on a different date. Some people post on the 17th. There's some people not, want to post on the 20th and, all those things. So I think it's hilarious. That part to me is very funny and very circus. Everyone's just like, we have every right to post when we want to, and we're gonna post however we would like, and we're still celebrating circus. And some people have been celebrating circus all week long, and that is also wonderful. I think that it can't be celebrated enough, especially in the evolution of circus and how far we've come as an industry all over the world, with so many folks gaining circus arts recognition uh, throughout the world for the circus arts industry. And again, coming back to the rights of the circus arts industry, I think that we are in the best time and the best era to get circus arts rights, industry rights, so that we have a defined seat at the table for legislation, for policy, and for the arts. I mean, and that's what that is, right? We have, I think, changed the conversation around the circus arts industry, and I want to continue to do that, in terms of unionizing the circus arts industry, in terms of gaining the support that other industries have, where folks from their industries are involved in those conversations. And so that is my effort. And that is the effort of Circus Arts Guild of America and the effort of the other advocates that I advocate with and I work with. And I know the perspective of so many in this industry, where we want to be involved as the circus industry experts that we are, and the ones that love this industry, because it's important to have the love for it so that you're not just there for your own economic bottom line. However, circus makes money, and if you're in circus, you should be making money. If you're coming from it from a space of business, obviously, if you're, just donating your time, or again, you just come at it from a hobbyist perspective and it's just something that you enjoy to do, and it's not your bread and butter, and you have an entirely different career. But I would think that you would want the ones and the folks like myself and all of the other circuits individuals, where it is the bulk and it is their only career and it is their only job and it is their only means of making a living and taking care of their families and getting health insurance and, getting unemployment benefits and disability and retirements and pensions and all the things that, again, are not always very typical language around the circus arts industry. It's been my effort with the Circuspreneur podcast to normalize those words and those conversations around our industry so that they're not taboo, which is, I think, hilarious when you think about anything being a taboo subject in the circus, because we are essentially a very taboo environment and a taboo industry and art form, even till this day. I mean, folks go to all sorts of places when I discuss the circus arts industry with them in terms of advocacy work and whatever else you want to, whatever kind of word, lobbying, whatever word, the love that you have for a space that you want to continue to see get the rights that you think that you see, because you've experienced an environment for so many years, and so informed by your experience, that is why you are asking for certain things on behalf of yourself and behalf of others. And so wanting everyone to do better, wanting every circus industry and every circus nation to do better and to increase our footprint and be essentially a part of how our industry is shaped and molded and formed. And I think that I cannot express that enough on World Circus Day in terms of, what I want to generate from this episode and inspire. I think we all need, you can't have enough inspiration, and especially if you're in your day-to-day grind. And it's so nice to come out of yourself and come out of your day-to-day show grind or whatever type of grind you're in the circus, and remind yourself why you like being in this art form and what you love about it and what it means to you, and reflecting on your circus journey and the circus journey of circus friends. Sometimes I even go into thinking about that in terms of the friends that I've had over the years and where they are right now in their circus career, their circus journey, and just being, blown away of seeing where people's careers can go and where their connection to the industry can go. Some, folks are expanding into not performing anymore, and they're, becoming directors and managers and ADs and things of that nature. And how interesting that is. They're becoming coaches. Some are doing both, some are in such a, certain decade of their career and still on the stage and performing. And it is so inspiring to see that because they're still at the top of their game. And, this is 25 plus years for them. And it's a really special thing to see everyone, getting to where their circus journey should be because it's right for them and whatever is right for me personally at this point in time. And so, again, I just wanted to give a lovely shout out of Circus Day and from the Circuspreneur Podcast. I'm your host, Shenea Stiletto. And the Circuspreneur Podcast, that is what we do here. We live and breathe the circus. I live and breathe the circus more than I thought that I ever would in my entire life and career. When I thought that my life was inundated and absorbed by the circus, I had no idea what I was getting myself into when I started the Circuspreneur podcast. And when I started to bring several different series produced by StageLink.com to the circus industry and the circus audience, and how much deeper and more connected I could ever be into the circus arts industry, whether it is promoting the business aspect of the circus arts industry, again, being a circuspreneur, and understanding that aspect of what makes this industry tick and what tools you need to succeed and survive in this industry for a prolonged period of time through the experiences and perspectives of my amazing guests. And so I will also give a big shout out to my amazing guests from the circus arts industry that have been just wonderful, breaths of wisdom and excellence and insight and expertise on the podcast. And I really appreciate everyone that has appeared on the podcast, that wants to appear on the podcast. And also too, who doesn't think that they could be on the podcast? Let me know, and we'll see. In the selection process of how we decide. I take it very seriously, my guests on the podcast, and I'm very specific and very picky. And because I want to bring the best quality of content, but I try to find a story for every guest that I have and a nuance for this industry that I think will bring listeners like you value from whatever perspective that you are loving and enjoying the circus arts industry from. And so, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for subscribing to the podcast. Thank you for liking. Thank you for commenting on the podcast. It helps so much. Thank you for accessing the podcast on YouTube, on Spotify, on Apple iTunes, Google Podcasts. We're literally on every single platform and have always been. And so, wherever you enjoy the Circuspreneur podcast, I hope that you continue to tune in and enjoy what we have to bring. And I hope, again, that the content is such a variety of perspectives that you feel, I think, overwhelmed by the love and by the devotion and by the experience that we bring through the Circuspreneur podcast, which is the goal and which is what I will continue to try to do to the best of my ability as I continue to juggle and wear so many different hats in this industry. And I just wanted to end the podcast by saying thank you again. And yeah, what does World Circus Day mean to you? Please leave us a comment and share a little bit about what circus arts means to you, what World Circus Day means to you, wherever you are in the world. And I hope that you continue to keep on circusing in the way that is valuable and specific to you. And I also hope that everyone continues to maintain hope around the arts, around the art form of the circus arts, uh, even during these times that can seem challenging in some ways, but I don't see the circus going anywhere. So I wouldn't worry too much. They can't hold us down. Again, we're not going anywhere. And, even if things feel uncertain, or you feel like things are going the wrong direction in this industry, or maybe you feel like they're going in the right direction in this industry, I think it's a good time to ponder that on World Circus Day of what direction you would like the circus arts industry to go in any part of the world, and reflecting on what this industry and what this art form means to you. So I'm your host, Shenea Stiletto. Please tune in to the next episode and stay tuned. Happy World Circus Day, everyone.